Hello, hello, hello. Am I audible? Is anyone there? Uh, Checking the chat. That's why I'm looking down. Uh, I don't see anyone. I'll just wait for 1 or 2 minutes if anyone has to join. Otherwise, I'll start. Okay, I see people have started joining. Okay, let's start. So, hi all. This is the first session in the JavaScript Understand JavaScript series. So you might be thinking there are a lot of JavaScript sessions already existing out there. So why lot of tutorials and very well made tutorials. Some of them are very famous also. So why am I teaching? So thing is, I have a certain way of teaching. Okay, which I have done this workshop teaching this with in paid workshop, same course that I'm teaching going to teach you now, and I have got awesome feedback about that. And the average rating was 9 on 10, and I have also written feedbacks about that, and I have shared it on my LinkedIn. So I thought that okay, it's not that okay, they also have seen all those tutorials and still they appreciate what I am teaching, so I should definitely teach this on YouTube. And not just that, I'm going to teach a lot of stuff which is still not there, at least as of now till this date. It's not there on YouTube, so that's what I'm going to teach. And what I expect from you is that you should at least have an understanding of at least one programming language, because what I am not going to teach is the very basics, like what are variables, and like I'll create how to create variables in JavaScript that I'll teach, but what are variables, how, what is if conditions, what are for loops, like all those stuff I expect you to understand. This series is going to be mostly intermediate to advanced, but don't worry, if you are new to JavaScript but know our programming language like C, C++, then you will be able to catch it, no issues. But if you are completely new to programming, then just watch the video, see if you follow through. Accordingly, you can continue. Okay. Um, yeah. And now, before I begin, so some of you might be thinking that I already know JavaScript. I already know what I'm going to teach. So I'll first tell what I'm going to teach today. How a JavaScript code executes. How what do you mean? What are higher order functions? What are callbacks? And understanding closure. Now, if you think you know closure, then I'll just give you one program. Okay, if you're able to see my screen, this is the program. If you can perfectly guess, okay, what variables will be there in the closure, okay, of the child function. Okay, if you can guess that correctly, not guess that, deduce that correctly. Guessing is not deduce correctly without running the program, then you don't need to attend this session, then you're good to go. Okay, no issues. But otherwise you should definitely attend this, because this is what I'll be teaching today. Okay, now let's start. I'll just delete this and I'll go to my slides. By the way, am I audible? Is my voice happening correctly? I think it would be there, otherwise someone would have complained. Um, yeah, cool. Well, thanks you. Thank you. Cool. Uh, so what is JavaScript? So JavaScript is a single-threaded, I'll just first go through the entire definition, synchronous, high-level programming language primarily used to build user interfaces of web applications. So this is the entire definition that I have created. Again, it's not something that I have created. I got it from my understanding and around the web. So what does single threaded mean? Okay, so first of all, the important thing for people to understand is the difference between single threaded and synchronous. Okay, because sometimes people think like multi-threading and asynchronous is similar. No, it's not similar. So basically, assume that you have two tasks to do. Okay, you have to go and purchase some groceries from shop A and also some groceries from shop B. Okay, both are different places. Now what you can do, you and your brother, just assuming you have a brother, take different bikes. Okay, each one of you take one bike and go and take the groceries from each. One of the brother takes it from shop A, another takes it from shop B, comes back. This is your multi-threading. Okay, now what is asynchronous? Asynchronous meaning you take the single bike, you just take one bike. Okay, and now I'll just show you diagrammatically so it will be better to understand. Let's say this is the shop A. Okay, and here is the shop B. Now you just take one bike. Okay, I'm not gonna draw a bike, but I'll just say B or BIKE. Just take one bike first, and both of you go in the same bike. You drop one of them over here. One of the brothers drops over here, and he starts buying stuff. Another one goes here, buys his stuff, comes back, picks his brother up, and goes back. This is what asynchronous means. Now, in terms of code, let me help you understand. Basically, single multi-threaded meaning you can execute different parts of code together, like different functions together, and asynchronous meaning you can change the order of execution. Okay, meaning you can skip a couple of lines. Let's say there are 10 lines of code. Okay, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's a 9. So what happens? You executed 1, you executed 2, you executed 3. Now 4 will take some time. So what you do? You can skip to 6, 8, and you again come back because this is now done. This is what is asynchronous. Okay, so what JavaScript is, it is single threaded and it is synchronous. So it does not mess with the order of execution, and it also it is a single threaded language. Now some of you might having big questions, might be having this question that I heard that it does asynchronous stuff, and some of you might be, I know man, it does asynchronous stuff and all those stuff. Yeah, they do. We achieve asynchronously in the JavaScript via the browser APIs. We'll talk about that going forward in the session, but by the nature of the language, it is synchronous. Okay. Now next is the high level programming language. Now what does high level meaning? Meaning there are different type of programming language. At the end, what your machine understands is ones and zeros. What is that ones and zeros? Ones and zeros is translated into electricity and no electricity. Something like plus 5 volt, 0 volt, plus 5 volt, 0 volt. At the end, your machine understands that only. Now, to little about that comes the machine coding. I would say if you have dealt with microcontrollers, if you are coming from my IT background, then 8085, 8086, some of these we had we used those. I'm not sure if microcontroller is the correct name, but the 8085, 8086, if you know, you used to put exact number of hexadecimal code command that used to, like let's say if you have to enter a digit 1, then there should be like some you have to enter something, then plus would be something, then 2 would be something. So that's what that's a very close to the machine and little low level. Then comes, let's say, C and C++. These are again low level programming languages. They are very close to machine and very far from human readable. Okay. Then comes our languages like Java, JavaScript, Python, all those stuff. So a language which is more human readable and less machine understandable, like it has to go under a lot of compilation and translation for the machine to understand, is a high level language, and which is more towards machine and less human understandable, not readable, it's only readable, but human understandable. Okay, that would be low level languages. Okay, so JavaScript is a high level language, so it is very much understandable by us, whatever code we write. And yeah, next point is primarily used to build web user interface of web application. Before Node, it was only used to build used to build the user interfaces. User interfaces meaning whatever you see on your web apps, okay, websites, that's your user interface. Basically the front end of your app, whatever you see, if you click something, then what should happen? If I hit this arrow key, it should change the page. If I click this back arrow, it should come back. Okay, all this interactivity part on your web page, that used to be done by JavaScript, still is done by JavaScript, but now we can even use JavaScript to code our backend, to create APIs, to interact with database and a lot of stuff. Okay, but still primarily used for meaning building user interfaces. So I hope the What JavaScript is, what it is used for, that is clear. Okay. Any questions? Hey, thanks, Harish. Arshit. Thanks, Arshit. Okay, cool. I don't see any questions. If there are questions, just keep sending in the chat. I'll check it. Cool. Let's go to the next slide. Um, yeah. JavaScript is mostly used as a functional programming language. It has object-oriented programming in it. Okay, it definitely has that part, but underneath it works very differently than what you would expect. If you are coming from an object-oriented language like C++ or Java, okay, then how it works syntactically it will be same in JavaScript. Okay, but underneath how it works, it makes use of the prototype chaining. We'll be talking about that in detail. Don't worry. But that is different. Okay, that is not same as other programming language. So in my experience also, and what I have seen from different sources in the internet, that primarily JavaScript is supposed to be used as a functional programming language, but it supports procedure also, and it also can be used as an object oriented. Okay, so coming to the next point, to compile and execute JavaScript code, we need a JavaScript engine. Now, since JavaScript was primarily used for web applications, the front end, all the browsers are having a JavaScript engine. Now, some of the examples are Chrome has V8 engine, Mozilla Firefox has SpiderMonkey, Safari has JavaScript core. Edge used to have a different engine, Chakra, but now they are also using V8. So good, less less engines for us to learn. Going to the next part, which is the most important part. How does a JavaScript program execute? Okay, this is the most important part. If you understand what I do over here, okay, then that will be like 50% of your job is done of understanding JavaScript. Because if you can trace the program at a machine level, not so much machine level, but at a engine level at least, that how is the program going to execute, then that's it. And pay attention to this, because throughout the series, okay, whenever I'm going to execute a program, I will be using the same procedure. Okay, so even for understanding promises and stuff, and also I have already taught promises. I have already given a session on promise, that is on my another channel. I'll add that YouTube video link in the description, so you can refer to it if you are an advanced learner of JavaScript. Okay, cool. Now let's understand this. So yeah, before reading through, yeah, you can read this afterwards. I'll share this. This is already there in the description. So let's go to the diagram part, because you will be able to understand better with diagrams. So let me clear this. Okay, let me just delete it. Cool, awesome. So whenever a JavaScript program executes, a execution context is created, okay, which is known as the global execution context. Also, there is a call stack. Okay, and this I'll name as global execution context. In this global execution context, we have something which is known as the environment variable. So you can variable environment, to be precise. I'll explain it, don't worry what it is. Okay, now variable environment is just like your memory. So whatever variables your program is using, whatever functions it's using, okay, to store that value of those variables, to store that function body, you require memory. So that is represented by the variable environment. Okay, and you can even say this as a local memory. But I would tell you, I would recommend you to use the official name like variable environment. Okay, and your code execution part, that happens in the global execution context. Now what is this call stack? Basically, whenever a function is getting executed, you put that function into the call stack. So whenever the entire program is executing, you can consider like you have a global function over here, which is currently getting executed. Your entire code, assume that it is in a global function. Okay, cool. Till now clear? Any doubts? No, both are different things. I already mentioned that coding after 20, you can just check that afterwards, or you can quickly, if you can go and scrub the video to ahead and make it at 2x, you can get that part, single threaded and synchronous part. Yeah. Now one more thing before I start executing on the code. Usually whenever the program is getting executed, first of all there is the memory phase. Okay, so your JavaScript compiler basically goes through your entire code and it checks whatever the variables and functions are getting created. And when I talk about hoisting going in forward session, I will be talking about that memory creation part. Okay, for now assume that your memory creation and execution is happening at the same time. Okay, it will be helpful for you to understand the execution of the program. Okay, now let's go. Let's take a program, because you want to execute a program, we have to have a program. So we will take a very simple program of adding two numbers. Do let me know if my voice is low, or if you want me to screen this is, I hope this is visible. I have made it like I have toggled the Zen mode and I have increased the font size, so I hope it is visible. Cool. So this is, by the way, this is just a simple HTML file in which I have a script tag with a type of module. We'll be discussing about what this type of module is, don't worry, but for now just understand it's a type of module just to write JavaScript. And yeah, this is my function. Now let's just go to the function. First of all, we are having a number which is having a value of 10. We have a function which adds two numbers. It calculates the addition and returns it, and then we have the answer. Cool. This is a simple, very simple function. Okay, now let's execute this function. Okay. So what is the first line that is there in the code? First line in the code is the const num10. Okay, so what we are doing is we are declaring a constant with the label of num and assigning the value of 10 to it. Okay, so how will I do it? Here I'll say num value 10. Okay, I'm going to keep this colon. Okay, cool, awesome. Let's go to the next line. Next line, we are defining a function add numbers. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll store the entire function body in the memory. So the label is add numbers. Okay, so I'll give the label add numbers, and to represent a function body, I'll just do this. Okay, like f n in a square matrix, so that understand that's a function body. Now can someone tell me what will be the next line? Like, where should I go in terms of memory creation part? Where should I go? What is the next line? I hope the chat is not deleted, otherwise I cannot do live interaction. Answer, correct. So the next line is the const answer. Why not this? Because this is the entire function definition. This function is not yet been invoked. It is not yet been called. Unless this function is called, I cannot execute the inside part, the function body. So the next line is this line. In this line, what we have? We have a constant answer. Okay, let's first do that. Answer. And what is it being assigned? It is being assigned the value which will be returned by the function add numbers. Pay attention to this, very much important. It is not assigned the function add numbers. It is not being assigned the function add numbers. It is being assigned the value which will be returned once we execute the add numbers function. I hope that is clear. And how do we know this is a function invocation? If your function name directly has the parenthesis besides it, then that's a function invocation. Okay, and if it has a function keyword ahead of it, then that's a function definition. Simple. Okay, so this is a function invocation. So whenever the function is invoked or function is called, okay, we create a new execution context. Okay, also we add that function into our call stack, because now that particular function is getting executed. So let's do that part in our diagram. Cool. This is our that was our execution context, and here I'll just add full stack. Now in execution context, well, let's just name it. Let's name it as a, you can either say it's execution context simply, or you can call it as, one second, function execution context. I'll just add function execution context so you will be clear. And all function execution context will have its variable environment. Okay. So now let's go to the next line. So now this is being executed. So now the flow of program, okay, now the thread of execution, okay, that's another technical word. So thread of execution, meaning the program is getting executed, that it is a single thread. So now that thread will go where? Go inside the function definition of add numbers. Okay, so first of all, taking care of the variable environment, what are the first two things? First two things are A and B. Okay, now one more important concept that you should understand, that there is a difference between parameters and arguments. Even before a couple of years I used to think they are the same, what does it matter, like, I mean, why is it a different thing? But it is a different thing technically. Parameters are when we are defining the function, so A and B are parameters, but when we invoke the functions, whatever we pass, they are the arguments. So that is the difference. Remember this in interviews, these little things will help a lot. Okay, not just in interviews, even in your work life, when you're explaining, especially in this remote work, technically explaining something to someone else is a very underrated skill. Okay, so you should always be clear on the technical stuff. So what are parameters? When you are defining the function, whatever are these variables in the curly braces, those are your parameters, and when you're invoking the function, these are the arguments. So A and B are parameters, num and 15 are arguments. Okay, I hope that it is clear. Now in the variable environment, we'll start with the parameters. So what we'll do, we'll see A is there. What is the value of A? What is it being assigned? It is being assigned here num. Okay, so num, is num present in the current execution context? Is it present in this variable environment? Num num? Nope, I don't see num. So what it will do, it will go to the parent, immediate parent execution context. In between it goes somewhere else also, but that's suspense that I'll open later. But for now, just understand that it will go directly to the parent execution context. In that it will check in the variable environment whether num is there or not. Okay, it found num. And what is the value of num? 10. So it got the value 10. I'm not 10. Cool. Now what is the second one? B. B, I think that's a direct value. Yeah, 15 directly. You have the direct. Okay, so going to the next part, what is the next thing? We have a constant result. Okay, so let's say result, result. What is it being assigned? It being assigned the addition of A plus B. So that happens in the execution context. Okay, so A plus B is what it is? It is 10 plus 15, so it will be 25. Okay, so now result will be assigned the value of 25. Okay, next line. We are returning the result. Now remember, we are not returning the constant result, we are returning the value contained by result. Very important distinction. Okay, in this it will be very simple, that okay, both are same, right? But going forward you will understand what it means. We are not returning the constant result, we are returning the value contained by result. Okay, so what is the value contained by result? 25. Where it will be assigned? Where it will go? It will be assigned to answer. Okay, because here it is returning and it will be assigned to answer. So what will be assigned to answer? 25. fine. Okay, so that's your entire program. Okay, now since this code is executed, this function it's done executing, so this function execution context will be destroyed. Okay, so I can just do like this, destroyed. Also this will be popped off the stack. Okay, so I don't know what is happening. Fine. Okay, so this will be popped off the stack. So how do I do it? I don't think there is a rubber. I could not find the rubber, but yeah, I can do just freehand. So this will be popped off the stack. Okay, I'll click it and clear it. Yeah, like this. And now going to the next line. This is also the last line of the program. So again, our program is also done executing. So again, our global execution context will also be destroyed, and our global function will also be popped off the stack, and call stack will go empty. That's it. Our program is done executing. Okay. So this is a very simple program. Okay, and I showed you how we execute it. So if there are any doubts, you please let me know. So also correct the result. So this is called scope sharing. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but yeah. Shouldn't the variables have undefined value initially? So I did speak about that initially, that currently I'm not talking about the hosting part. So there's a separate memory creation part. So that will be, I'll be talking about hosting later. So that's why I not talk about the undefined part. Okay. So any doubt, any other doubts? Yeah, I got it. What your scope changing, what you're talking about. So that getting the num value. Yep. Um, anything? Any doubts? Yeah, got it. Any doubts? Okay, cool. I think there are no doubts. Awesome. So you can read through this. This is almost same what I have taught you. Nothing different. Let's go to, and this here I have diagram also, so you can refer to the diagram here. Okay. Now let's try to execute another program. Okay, just to have a practice about it. Okay, why should I copy it? Just use this, right? So we have num1, num2. Okay, let's just should I just do control Z? Oh, awesome. So because we are executing program, we create a global execution context, we have a variable environment, we have a call stack. In that call stack, we have the global function. This is same. Okay. Now we execute our program num1, num2. Okay. So num1, I think just 10. Yep, 10 and 15. Next line is the function. What is it? Multiply numbers. So we have the label over here, multiply numbers. And as I told you, I will represent the function body as f within the square brackets. Okay, what is the next line? Next line is will not go within the function because the function is not yet executed, it is not yet invoked. We go to the next line, answer. Okay, it is a constant again, so here answer, and what will be assigned to it we don't know as of now. We have to execute and define it out. So this is the function invocation, and what are num1 and num2? Those are arguments. Okay, now we will, because this function is getting executed, what do we create? We create a execution context. Sorry, change the tab by mistake. Also we need to add it to the call stack. Multiply numbers and 1 and 2. Okay, and this is a function execution context. Then we have the variable environment. I'll just write v.e first shot. Oh my god. Now we are executing that function. So first of all, what we'll put in the variable environment, the parameters, okay, a and b. Now a and b are being assigned the value of num1 and num2. So is num1 and num2 in this current execution context, is in the current variable environment? Nope. So it will go where? It will go to the parent. What is this known as? Scope chaining. Okay, as who was it? Pratik has mentioned it. Okay, so yep. So we see num1 and num2 is there in the parent execution context. So it will see what is it, 10 and 15, and it will take it from there. So yep, a 10, b 15. Awesome. Next line. I think it's result. Yep, result. And it should be a into b. I'll update this slide. This should a into b. So we are now calculating the value of result. So it's re3 and it is a into b. So 10 into 15, which will be 150. Awesome. Now next line. What is it? What are we returning? We are returning the value of result. Okay, value contained by result. What is the value that is contained by result? 150. Okay, so that will be returned. So this will be returned over here, and now finally our answer is 150. So this also gets destroyed because it's done executing. So we'll just destroy it. Awesome. Oh my god. I don't know why this is happening. Yeah, and this will be popped out of stack because it is done executing. Awesome. And then if you see, this is the last line of our program. So again, we destroy the global execution context and pop global of the stack. That's all. So this is how our JavaScript program gets executed. I hope after seeing it 2 times, two sort of similar problems, sort of similar codes, it is clear. I'll just wait for 2 minutes if there are any doubts. Redux tutorial will, yeah, I have planned, but later. Like currently, primarily focus on JavaScript and React, and probably after that Node. Where is function scope only because of I'm not getting your question. Where is function? It is a function scope. Why it is function scope, that I'm not sure about. Value is passed. That's a good question. Value is passed by value is passed by value, meaning it's by reference or by value. So that depends on what are you passing. If it's a primitive, it's a pass by value. Then if it's a non-primitive type like object, arrays, functions, then it is passed by reference. In JavaScript it works like that. So I hope I answered your question. Cool. Let's continue. So that's why I like live sessions, because you ask questions, I share additional knowledge which I did not prepare for. Cool. Now let's say we have a requirement of to develop functions that will calculate square of 5, 7 and 11. Before you say that why would I have a requirement like this is a very contrived example. Okay, now let me explain you what contrived means. Contrived, hard to believe, not natural realistic, but for explaining some concept. Okay, so this is a very contrived example, so please bear with me. um, what is the requirement to calculate square of 5, 7 and 11? What we do, we directly code. We are very naive coders, NAIV, naive coders. That's why we create three functions. One is 5 square, one is 7 square, one is 11 square. Okay, and we are happy that we have achieved the task. Going forward happens, we are given 10 more numbers, 100 more numbers, of which we have calculated squares. Now we are thinking that, aren't we doing the same task again and again? Are we repeating it? So there is a principle of programming which everyone would be aware of, DRY. Do not repeat yourself. Okay, so what you can do is, in all of these functions, if you see, what is the one thing that keeps on changing? The number whose square we are going to find. So that number, we can take it as a variable, we can accept it as a parameter. Okay, and then calculates its square and return that. Simple. Okay, I know this might be very silly to you, but I have to explain this because if someone is very new to programming, then they should understand this. So, and this helps us understanding higher order function later. So yeah, this is the solution. What we did, we created a function which will take a parameter of num, and then we square that num and return it. Very simple. Then okay, so going to next, we get a requirement to code functions which take two numbers as an argument, process the numbers, and then add, subtract, multiply, divide the numbers. Okay, so what do? We code the following. Okay, now there's a little information which is not I have given in the previous slide, is that all of these functions, okay, have some processing to do with the inputs. Okay, so there is some code, like let's say 100, 200 or 1000 line of code over here, which it processes the input somehow. Okay, and then we have to calculate the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So we see the requirement, okay, we have to do this. We create 4 functions, simple, very simple. Okay, add numbers, multiply numbers, divide numbers, subtract numbers. But again, if you notice it correctly, okay, if you observe, we are sort of repeating. Okay, it's what is the change this time? It's not the number, or it's not the variable that is changed. This time the thing that is changing is the operation. So here it's addition, here it's multiplication, here it's division, here is subtraction. Okay, tomorrow we can have some other sort of operation. Okay, some complex operation which will not be just a plus b, it will be say a plus b minus c plus d, something like that. Okay, so what is changing in all these methods, not methods, functions, there's a difference between methods and function. So because I have touched that, I'll tell you. When we learn about objects going forward, within objects, if there are functions, those are known as methods, and otherwise functions are called as functions. Okay, so there's a difference between methods and function. Never use these things interchangeably. So these are functions. Okay, coming back. So what is the change in, what is the difference between all of this is just the operation. So how now we pass the parameter, like how can we do it with operation? Like we can do, if it's a number, we can sort it in a variable, but if it's an operation, like it's something from functionality, how can we do it? Can someone tell me? I have to sometimes wait because the chat, I understand that my live streaming is a little bit delayed, so chat might be delayed. Okay, I think it's delayed a lot, or maybe I'm not clear with my question. But uh, now what we trying to do is, the functionality is different in all of those functions. So how do we take that functionality as a parameter? In JavaScript, there is one amazing thing about functions. functions are first class citizens. What does it mean? What does a first class citizen mean? It means they can be treated as variables. How we create variables, we can assign values to variables, we can assign functions to variables, we can pass variables as a parameter, we can pass functions as a parameter, we return variables from the functions, we can return functions from the functions also. So this behavior of JavaScript, okay, this functionality of JavaScript will help us solve this situation. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So what we now do, okay, this is very important for you to understand, so please pay attention, and we'll execute this in our using the diagram, so you'll be able to understand better. What we did, we created just one function, calculate. It takes the previous two parameters a and b. Additionally, it takes a function operation. Okay, and now within the body, okay, we invoke this operation function and pass a and b to it. Okay, during the definition of function, we don't know what the operation is going to be, but when the this calculate is invoked, at that time we will pass a function over here that could be add, subtract, multiply, divide, whatever it is, and that function, it is responsibility of that function to give us the calculated value. Okay, so we have created add, subtract, multiply, divide. Okay, and now what we do is we invoke this function calculate, we pass the numbers, that is as almost similar as to what we were doing previously. Additionally, we will send this function add, subtract, multiply, divide accordingly what we want to do. Okay, I hope that is understandable, it is clear. Okay, we will execute this code, it will be more clear. But now two concepts that are introduced in this code. One is higher order function. So let's understand what are higher order function. A function which takes another function as an argument, okay, and or, okay, this and or is very important, returns a function from within is known as higher order function. Okay, I'll repeat it. A function which takes a function as an argument and or returns a function from within is known as a higher order function. Second concept that is introduced here is callback. A function which is passed within another function and then later invoked within that function is known as your callback. Okay, now I couldn't find the official definition of higher order function anywhere, but for callbacks I do have a credible resource. So another thing that if you have doubt regarding anything in front-end development, okay, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, always open this site, Mozilla Firefox. Just do mdn.io and slash whatever you want to search for. Okay, and you will get the result in here. Or you can directly come to mdn.io. You can use the search functionality over here, and you can search whatever you want. Okay. So a callback function is a function passed into another function as an argument, which is then invoked inside the outer function to complete some kind of action or routine. This is what a callback function is. I had shared this definition earlier, long back, like last year or maybe before that, in LinkedIn, and lots of people had disagreed with me. No, that it has to do some asynchronous task, and it has to no, this is not the correct definition and all those stuff. But then to all of them I just shared this link that see in developer Mozilla Firefox, this is the definition. Okay, so if you're saying if you know more than them, then okay, fine, maybe you are correct, but nothing, this is the callback, nothing complicated. This is simple callback. Callback is a function passed to another function as an argument, later invoked within that function to perform some task. Okay, so I hope that is clear. So conceptually I hope everything is clear. Now let's execute this code. Okay, we'll do for like two of them, like add and subtract, because if we do everything then it will take just unnecessary time, and you will understand with just one or two, no issues. Cool. Now again let me do, okay, I mean this is annoying. Okay, before I begin executing that code, any doubt in anything that I have mentioned over here? Coding after 20, your question about the where being function scope. We'll talk about that when we'll talk about where, let, and const later. Okay. Apart from that, any doubt? Higher order functions, callbacks, functions being first class citizen. Okay, I don't see any doubts. Okay, cool. Now we are going to execute that function. So what we'll do, we have a num1, num2. It's very similar to it. Okay, I think if I just yeah, num1, num2 are already there. Value might be different, 10 and 5. Let's fine. Let's keep it 10 and 15. No issues. It don't matter. Now we have a function of calculate. So what we do, come over here, we write calculate, and we store the function body. Done, forgotten. Okay. Next, what is the next line? It will not go within the function. Next line will be this line. Okay. Now we have another function definition. Add. Similarly, we have subtract, multiply, divide. So we'll store each of them. Add, subtract, divide. Okay, cool, awesome. Let's go back. What is the next? Okay, I missed. I changed the order. Let me correct it. Everything gone. Add, subtract, multi. The order matters over here. That's otherwise I would do it. Divide. Awesome. So all the function definitions have been stored. Till now there was no invocation of any function. Okay. Line number we don't have line number, but yeah, this line we have now a constant answer one, which is being assigned the value which will be returned by the calculate function with these three arguments. Okay, so now we have a function invocation. Whenever we have a function invocation, what do? We create a execution context. Okay. So let's go. And also let's add it to the call stack. What is the function? Calculate. Now it has three. I'll just add 1 and 2. Okay. Now this function I'll just name it short function execution. If you're able to hear the kids' voice, I'm apologizing for that because I cannot do anything about them. I have closed my windows and doors, but I think still that voice passes. Actually, keep it closer because yeah. So now we are within the body of which function? Calculate function. We are body of this function. And in the variable environment part, first of all, what we take care of? We take care of the parameters. So what are the parameters? A, B, operation. So let's first take care of A and B. So A and B have been assigned the value of num1, num2. Num1, num2 there? Nope. It goes to the immediate parent. In the immediate parent is num1, num2 there? Yes. Take the value A10, A15. Okay. Next, what is next parameter? Operation. Okay, so now operation parameter, what is it being assigned? It will be assigned the function body, okay, which is referred by this add, okay, add label. So what this add label contains this function body, so that function body will be assigned to the operation. Okay, and now what's the next? Now there is some lines of a code which we are not concerned with, and we are concerned with this one result, which is now invoking operation. So let's go back. We have to define result over here, result, and what is result being assigned? A value which will be returned by this function, okay, with these two arguments. So this is a function invocation. So now we will create another execution context. So let me do that. थोड़ा इंसेप्शन जैसा हो गया. Okay, and remember, don't forget the call stack. Always remember the call stack. What is the function? You can call it operation, you can call it add. I mean, label doesn't matter, the body of the function matters. So what is that? A, B. Cool. F dot E dot C. Okay, awesome. So now we are in the body of this operation. So which body will go to? Which one will go to? Well, I wish this was a live class because I love interactive people, but because of the delay in chat, I'm I can't do that. So yeah, this will go to which body? This is the body because add was passed as an argument. Okay, so this was assigned to operation. So this body will be now executed. So first of all, parameters. Okay, A and B. What is A and B? A and B is A and B. Okay, so in this A is there any existing A? No. We'll go to the parent execution context. Yeah, A is there, B is there. Fine. Take the value. Okay, awesome. Next, returning A and B. So what is A plus B? Just 15. So we'll calculate 15. So we'll just do it over here. No, 25. My sorry about my terrible math skills. I'm not so bad. I'm actually very good, but forget about it. 25. It goes over here. 25. Okay. Cool. So that is done. Okay. This function is done executing. So we have to destroy its function execution context. So destroy it like this. And we'll pop this off. Pop it off. Cancel it like this. Okay. And now we go back to this function execution context of calculate. We'll see if there is any other code to be done. Yep, there is a code. You have to return the result. Okay. So we have to return the result. So what we do, we use this arrow here. Okay. Now, is there anything left? Nope, that was the last line. So we destroy this function execution context. And we pop it off. Awesome. And then we go back to the parent one, this execution context, this one, global. Is there something? Yes, there are answer 2, answer 3, answer 4, but they are almost similar. Actually, what I usually do in the session is like, now the answer 2 I completely take the answer out from the I just ask them what to do next, and I draw the diagram accordingly in the session. But since it is a bit difficult over here, so let's not do it. But it is similar, like add, subtract, the operation doesn't matter, but the flow is exactly similar. Okay, now I'll do just one thing. I'll save this image so that I can share it later. Not sure about which will be fine, but yeah. Mm, radar function, callback. Okay, I may add this in the slides. Okay, later. Fine. Cool. Okay, let's go back to the slides. So here I have given the definition of higher order function, and then I have given the definition of callback function. Okay, cool. Now before we move on, any doubts? Any doubts? I see people already reduced. I think खाने खाने का time हो गया है 11 से 5 जन हो गए. Any doubts? Even I am planning to take now a small break, 5 minutes break. I hope someone will be there afterwards. Anyways, I'll teach. No, people can watch offline. Knowledge is still there. Any doubts till now? Anything that you didn't understand? Want me to go back, explain? Please let me know. No, I explained it how they are different, but I'll explain again. Higher order function is like the function. Let me just go back. Calculate is higher order function. Operation is the callback. I hope now that is clear. Calculate is higher order function. Add is the callback. Meaning calculate is a function which takes another function as an argument and or returns a function from within. That is known as your higher order function. Callback is a function which is being passed as an argument to another function. Okay, and then later executed. I hope that is clear. If you're not clear, then go back. I have explained it again, and just read through the definition. It is clear. It's not so much. Don't worry. Anything else? Okay, clear. Awesome. So now, I don't feel like taking a break. We can continue, but let me see. Okay, let me just take 2 minutes break. Okay, I'll take 2 minutes break. Just be there, come back. Okay, already 6 students, but I hope that's there. I'll be back. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. I'm back. Let's continue. Before you continue, let me know all of you are there. I see 7 people are there, but if I can get some confirmation that you are there, then we'll continue. Hey, thanks, Pratik. I think everybody's to join. Do variable environment contain reference to values or actually is a memory structure like a heap? Um, no, it's not heap. That would. Okay, let me just think about it and then mention. Okay, I'll get back to you on this. Okay, I'm not sure about that. Do variable environments contain reference to values? No, that's actually memory allocation. So it's definitely not just references. Okay, um, it's actual allocation. But which memory structure? Yeah, if it's runtime, it will be heap. You're correct about that. But I will confirm you that later. Don't worry. Okay, cool. Let's begin. Meaning, let's continue. So I have a function over here. Okay. So what I want you to do is tell me what will be the output of this function if I execute this code. Basically, I execute this code. What will be the output? Okay. My chat might be delayed. Undefined. Okay. Anyone else wants to take a guess? We get a reference error. Okay. Why? Because counter is not defined. It's not defined anywhere. And we are trying to access counter and we are trying to increment counter, but it's not defined. Hence, we get a reference error. Okay. Now, coming over here. Okay. Now, tell me what will be the output in this one. That happens. second block of code. Same reference error, I guess. One. Okay, Deepak says one. Okay. Okay. So let's execute it. Since there are two different answers. Zero. One says zero. Okay. Satish says zero. So the answer is one. Okay. Why? Because counter is defined. We are accessing that counter. We are incremented it. Okay. And this is the pre-increment. Okay. So anyways, it will be one. Okay. So the point that I'm trying to make over here is if you try to access a variable which is not defined, you will get reference error, not undefined. That's one clarity that I want to give because see, three people said undefined. That's clear. That's some misconception. Okay, so it will be reference error. And another is that if this is normal scope chaining thing. This is nothing like in this execution context. It didn't find counter. It went to above parents execution context and it found okay counter is and it used it. Simple, nothing. Okay. Uh, Next. Okay. This might be like this. No one will even ask you in interview because it's very simple. But still, when I asked, I got some wrong answers. Right. So always pay attention and like understand it with the depth. Uh, doesn't matter how basic the questions are. Just try to answer it. But I really appreciate you answering. Okay. Uh, Having no answer is worst in having a wrong answer. Wrong answer is still you thought and you gave some answers. So I always appreciate people who give answers, whether wrong or right. That doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, I already mentioned it over here. Second code. Again, important over here. This okay. Tell me this output of this one. First one I'll explain. If you can tell, then tell me this also. But tell me for this str2 console log str2 what will be there. And if you contain str1 also, that's also fine. I mean, I hate this delay because people who are going to watch this later are like भाई क्या है कितना forward करूँ मैं अभी. Avenger. Okay, I have one answer, and that's correct answer. I'm not waiting for anyone else. It's correct. Okay. Yeah, Avengers. Yeah, that's fine. I think he just made a spelling mistake, but yeah, Avengers correct. So without the quotes though. Okay, but yeah, I got it. Avengers fine. Correct answer. For the first one, what it will be is, so that's what I wanted to show the difference. If I print the first one, it will be the function definition. Okay, the entire function body. Okay. So if you are assigning like this without calling the function, then what you are basically doing is you are assigning this function body to this reference. Okay, I'll explain you, don't worry, with the diagram. So diagrams लोगों को ज़्यादा पता चलता है. Let's say this is your memory. In this you have an object, or not object, function. So you have your function body, some code, function body. This is a function body. So what happened? Str, so initially this was pointing to this, and now we did str1 equals to str func. So meaning we will have one more str1 const. This also will point to the same function. Okay, that's the thing. That's I wanted to tell the difference between assigning a function body, meaning assigning a function, it's a body, but assigning a value returned by the function. Both are different. Okay, and you can even see the output in the console so that you are clear. Okay, so first one is the function body. Okay, and second is the output Avengers. I hope that is clear. Got it. Cool. Awesome. Now let's try to execute this code. Whew. Whenever we execute any JavaScript code, we create the global execution context, and we have a call stack. Global execution context, and I'll write first, then I'll environment. Okay, let's go to our function, meaning our code. So in the first line of the function itself, we have a function definition parent. So we have a label of parent and we store the function body. Okay, so now what is the next line? This is entire body. So we are not executing because the function is not invoked. We go to the directly next line. This is the line. Here it is a const, meaning child constant, child label. What is it being assigned? It will be assigned the value. Okay, whatever it could be. It could be primitive value, it could be an object, it could be a function. Okay, which will whatever will be returned by parent when it gets executed, and whatever it returns. Okay, so now we have a function call. So whenever you have a function call, we create another execution context. Now, before I move to that part, one part that I should mention is that about data types. JavaScript has 7 primary data types, okay, which are number, string, boolean, symbol, null, undefined. One of them I forget. Number, boolean, string, null, undefined. No, awesome. Okay, fine. I'm not able to find it as of now, but yeah, it has primary data types, and then there are additional, which is objects. So in object you have your object, then you have array, you have function. Okay, and also for each of the primary data types, there are object version of that also. Okay, so for you have array object, you have string object, we have integer, and not all of things are there. Not integer, but number object, and yeah. I think big int was one of them that I was forgetting. Big int also is there, but yeah. Anyways, so there are primary type and there are secondary types. Okay, just wanted to mention that because I talked about the data types. So now let's continue. Where were we? We are creating a execution context for this. And also let's add it to the call stack. Okay, I forgot global. Pul. Parent. Now we'll come to the within first line within the function bodies. As there are no parameters, so we'll start with the first line. We have counter. So okay, I didn't do the naming of function. Okay, we have a counter with a value of 0. Cool. Next we have a function definition. Okay, so it says label of child, that function definition. Cool, awesome. Next we are returning child. What now you will understand the importance of what I was saying. We are not returning child, the variable. We are returning the value contained by child. What does child contain? It contains the function definition. So we are now going to return this function definition. Okay, this function definition from the parent function. So this is now getting assigned to this. Now mind well, this name could be same, could be different. This name doesn't matter. Okay, I have not intentionally kept it same because of this. It has to be same. This could be XYZ, ABC, anything. Okay, main thing that is important is the function body that is coming out. Okay, so that function, yeah. Okay, this happened. Now let's go. That is over. So we destroy the execution context. And pop this off the stack. Now next line. What is next line? this we are invoking. This was a function definition, so now we are invoking that particular function. Okay, so we invoke this function, so we'll need this execution context, so I'll do it below because I didn't leave any space over there. But assume this is inside that. Okay, it's not outside, assume it's inside only. Okay, okay, so we're going to execute this body. It doesn't have a parameter, so okay, going inside, we directly have a console log statement and we have a counter. Okay, so counter, is it present in this variable element? No. So where do we go? We look into the parent one. So this is the parent. Is counter present over there? No. Okay, so counter is not there. So technically what should we get? We should get a reference error because we are not able to see the counter. Okay, so that's it. We get a reference error and our code stops executing. Okay, so now let's execute it and see. Interesting. We got a value 1. How is it getting it? I mean, we used all our concepts. What are we missing? So if you remember, in when the first time I was explaining it, I told you there is one thing where it checks before it goes to the parent. Okay, so that's the thing that is missing. That's the part that I want to explain. That's why I have taken this particular example. Okay, so whenever, okay, a function which is there and it is accessing, okay, some variable in its current execution context. So we have this child function. I'll explain here with this. So this function, okay, in its current scope. Okay, so one more thing I'll to explain is like the lexical scope. So scope meaning from where you are sitting, meaning from where this particular variable or a function or whatever is sitting, where all can it be accessed. Okay, so counter is sitting over here within the parent. So from counter can be accessed by whom? It cannot be accessed by anyone outside counter. Okay, but child can access it because child function is within it. Similarly, child function also cannot be accessed outside parent. Here we are returning, so that's a different case, but in general I'm talking about. Okay, so scope meaning from where I am present, who and all can access me. That's the scope. Okay, so in your child, okay, and what is now lexical scope, meaning what all I can access. So for child, what all I can access counter. Okay, so the child function and its lexical scope, what it is accessing. So it is accessing counter. Okay, so what happens? So it is accessing counter and now this function is getting returned. Okay, but this execution context will be destroyed, but child is accessing counter. So child will be like, bhai ye kya ho raha hai? Like I am accessing something of you and now you are getting destroyed, तो ऐसा कैसे चलेगा? Then parent is like, okay wait, see bro, I need to get destroyed. मेरा काम हो गया, मेरे को तेरे को बनाना था, तेरे को पैदा करना था, तेरे को रिटर्न करना था, आगे का अपन नहीं जानता है, ठीक है, बट बिकॉज यू आर माई चाइल्ड आई विल डू समथिंग फॉर यू, आई विल गिव यू अ बैकपैक, ठीक है, जिसमें तेरे को ये जो चीज़ है तो एक्सेस कर रहा है तू ले जा, ठीक है. सो बेसिकली वॉट एवर आई हैव यू जस्ट टेक इट, आई विल पुट इट इन अ बैकपैक. दैट इज नोन एज क्लोजर. Simple, there's nothing much more complicated about it. This is what closure is. Okay, so I'll show you in diagram. So whenever this function is returned, okay, along with the function you get a closure. In that closure, I'm representing closure with double. This is not on some official representation. In this you will have counter of 0. Okay, cool. So this has now, and now what happened, when we were executing child, okay, this body executing this body, it is now having this console log of this line in which is accessing counter. So first of all, it will look into the current execution context, it will find counter. Then before going to the parent, okay, before going to the parent execution context, it will look into its own closure. Okay, it will look into its own closure. Is counter there? Yes, it is there. So it will take the counter value from there. Okay, I hope that is understandable. Okay, if you understand closure, going forward, like be next 15-20 minutes are about closure only. Don't worry. So if you are still confused, we will understand. Don't worry. Okay. So again, I'll repeat, this counter not available in the current execution context. And before going to the parent, it will first check where, it will first check into its closure. Into its closure, is counter there? Yes, it is there. It is value is 0, so it will increment it and done. Okay, iska kaam ho gaya. This will be destroyed. Okay, this will be destroyed. I did not put in the call stack, but yeah, it should be in call stack. It will be pop out a call stack, and then it will be done. Khatam. Okay. Now let me show you this in the Chrome browser, because I prefer to use Firefox, but in Firefox that functionality is not there. So I have to open Chrome. Okay, go to source. So basically, if you're running any code in your own server, so you can go to source and you can access all the source code. Okay, remove points. Now what I'll do, I'll put a breakpoint over here. Okay, now let me even explain what is a breakpoint. So also let me explain what are dev tools. So go into any browser, right click, inspect, or command shift I, or whatever shortcut, if you can remember, F12 something is there. So choose your favorite shortcut, open DevTools. In DevTools there are lots of things. You can see the DOM tree, you can see the consoles, you can see source, network, performance, memory, application, security, lighthouse report. If you continue to watch all my videos, we'll be exploring all of the DevTools in one or the other of videos. Okay, maybe not all will be covered in JavaScript. Maybe I'll take something in web performance when I teach. Okay, I also learn online, so I live stream my learning, so I do it on my own channel, so you can check there. I use that DevTools extensively over there. So if you want to understand more about DevTools, then you should follow my videos. Now what is this? We added a breakpoint. What is a breakpoint? Breakpoint meaning execute this code up and until this point. Don't execute line number 23, only till 22 execute. Okay, that's what a breakpoint means. Okay, now let me do a refresh so that it will start execution of this program and stop at line 23. Okay, it stopped. Okay, now what are you going to do? These are the various things available to us, controls available to us. Okay, this step over, like step over the next function call. I don't want to step over, I want to step into. Okay, step into the function call. Okay, so I'll step into the function call. Okay, here if you see, okay, we have a counter value. Okay, now we'll go to the next line. Okay, this is the next line basically. Next, what we did, directly returning child. There was nothing to execute as such, so directly returning the child and going to the next. Now we are the child function. Okay, child is not yet executed, is supposed it's yet to be executed, so I will step into the function. Okay, now I'm into the function. Now if you see here, can you see closure? I can see closure. Open it, you see counter is 0. Again, this is not new, like in YouTube videos people have shown this, but still there closure, you can see clearly, you can see what is closure, what is the value of closure. Okay, and from this closure it's able to access the counter of value. Okay, and if you go to next line, if you see counter increased, the closure was updated. Why? Because we updated it, plus counter. Okay, and then done, over, our function is done executing. Okay, so let me stop this and let me go back and add a couple of more. Let me put it over here, 23 is fine. And step into, okay, let's type over, my bad. Step into the function call. Okay, we can see closure, next line, incremented, next line, step into, we see it currently this line is not executed. Okay, it's 1, and once it's executed it will be 2. Okay, then again next line, next line, next line, 3, 4. So if you even go to console, you will see 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's go back to our code. So when first time it was executed, it created execution context. It was accessing counter. It was not able to find it in current execution context. It went to its own closure. It saw okay, counter is there, incremented its value, destroyed its execution context, done. Again it is invoking. Again it will check current execution context, not able to find, going to its closure, it's saying counter but value is 1. Again incrementing it, 2. Again same thing happens, 3. Again same thing happens, 4. Okay, so this is how what closure works like. Okay, clear? Clear? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you, thank you. Cool. Now let's take the question that I had asked in the start before this began. Okay, let me remove this. Okay, this was the question that I asked in the start of the video, that if you're able to answer me that what will be part of closure for this function, then you know closure, then you are very well with closure, you don't need to watch my entire video. So can someone tell me what will be the part of the closure? What variables will be part of the closures for this function? Str and counter. Okay, anyone else? Child, counter, no, only variable. Child is function, I'm talking only about the closure, both. Okay, cool, awesome, fine, let's check. Not here, sorry, Chrome. Okay, we are here. We are now going to step into the function call. Moment of the truth, only counter. Why? And you're not the only one who said both. Okay, I have taken several interviews. Okay, and I always ask this question. Till now, not a single person has told me the correct answer. Okay, because this has not been taught on YouTube. That's the only reason, because we learn from there. We never experiment with closure. We never, okay, ये इसको ऐसा डालेंगे तो क्या होगा, इसको ऐसा डालेंगे क्या होगा. We don't do that. So always explore. Okay, not don't just accept what is there on YouTube. Even what I'm teaching, explore, do something else, do some weird stuff, and come up with questions. Either try to have to find on your own. Okay, this question till now, whatever interviews I've taken, everyone has told me both counter and string both will be there. I see one guy coding after 20 correctly, he told counter. I hope you are this the reason that I'm going to give is your reason. So in closure, I have been mentioning this correct again and again. Whatever my function is using from its lexical scope, only that will be part of your closure. String is there, but am I using string? No, I'm not so using string. Then why will it be part of the closure? Right? फालतू में उतना सामान लेके क्यों घूमना है? Got it? So that's the reason, because I'm not using string, this variable, this constant in my function, then it will not be my part of closure. Okay, so when it will become the part of the closure, if I start using it. So I have already taken that example here. Did not copy it correctly or what? Okay, let's go to Chrome, let's refresh. Okay, let me step into the function. Ta-da, we have a string avengers. Why? Because we are using it. Okay, so the definition of closure should now be very, very, very clear. The function of your no, the question was correct. Okay, you thought I thought okay, got it, fine. So now you should understand the correct definition of your closure. Okay, which is function along with its execution context. इतना तो सबको पता है, ठीक है, सब सीख गए. Along with its execution context, which it is accessing within the function. That part was remaining till now. Okay, which everyone was missing. So let me show you the definition. I have written it down. Function along with its lexical scope, which it is accessing within the function, is known as closure. Okay, definition clear, explanation clear. Any doubt in understanding closure, do let me know now. No doubts. I'm not getting either yes or no. So maybe like you are trying to still comprehend what is closure. It's fine. First time maybe you might need some time to like, understand it. But if you have doubts, just go through this video again. It's simple, very simple. Okay. So even the definition is very simple. Okay, clear. Thanks, Satish, for letting me know. Okay. So and I'll take one more example. After that, it will be even more clear. Okay. Either that will confuse you or it will become more clear. We'll see. Cool. Tell me the output of this. Till here only. Just no need to go forward. Or yeah, go forward. Like tell me the entire output. Yeah. This is your code. I'll just scroll it so that you can see entire code correctly. Yeah, this is the question. Okay. Meanwhile, if you are when you are trying to answer this question, I'll answer coding after 20's question. So we use explicitly. You might never use it, but I'll tell you some parts where we use, and that is what I'm going to teach next. I'll just show you. Application of closures. So I know this is the question that should inherently come from you. That okay, closure सीख तो लिया, but this use क्या करते हैं? We use it in currying. We use it in memoization. Okay. Also we use it when we are doing the module pattern, right? Importing, exporting, all those part. Importing code from another module, exporting from one module. In all of that, in our hooks, if you have learned React, and if there are hooks, everywhere hook closure is being used implicitly. We are just not aware of it. Okay. If you know the implementation of it, if you try to understand the implementation of it, if you go to the React source code, okay, you will be able to understand a lot of places we are using closures. Inherently, implicitly, we use it a lot of places. We just are not aware about it. Okay, output about this. Tell me. Some answer, wrong answer is better than no answer. I'll just wait one more minute because output will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm calling it function 3 times only. Okay, still you are saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then okay, function 3 बार ही call हो रहा है. Anyone else also take a jab at the answer? Okay, fine. Let's try to 5, 5, 5. Okay, 5, 5, 5. That another answer. Cool. Yeah, let's now understand what will happen. Okay. 5, 5, 5, triple 5. Awesome. Let's see the answer. That will be more interesting. Okay, before I run this, how many of you think that closure is involved in this? How many of you think uh, that closure concept, what I have taught you, is involved in that? I think you have, based on your answer 555555678, you guys think that closure is involved in this. Otherwise, you will not answer that question like that. Okay. But Pratik, who said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is sort of weird because I think 4 and 5, if you discard, I'll just take 1, 2, 3. Then you might not be thinking that it's a closure thing. Okay. Let's see. Let's execute this and see the answer. It's 1, 2, and 3. Surprise. Yep. That's why I purposely kept this question. Again, this is one of my favorite questions that I ask people. And uh, 90, 80%, 85% answer it wrong. Less 15% are able to answer it. So, cool. Now I explain why, what happened over here. Here, you might see that, अरे ये child तो return हो रहा है इधर से, तो closure कैसे form नहीं किया? But if you listen to the definition, what it is, function along with its lexical scope. ये function का definition किधर है? Function का definition बाहर है. Okay. So this is not its lexical scope. I just, to confuse you, I kept it like this. I returned a child from here. Okay. If you want, we can execute this and we can try to understand it. Okay. Let's be over here. Okay. Line number 1, counter. I'll do just a bit more quickly. Counter 0. We have a function definition of child. Parent 1. Cool. Now we have a constant return to child. Equals to whatever value is returned by parent 1 after it's executed. So now we are executing parent 1, so we create a execution context. Okay, I have call stack. Okay, let me add it. Let's not do half thing. Global and what it is over here, what was the function? Now parent. Function execution context and environment. Cool. So what we are going to execute now? This one. Does it have any parameter? No. Okay, so directly go to the body. Counter. Value 5. Fine. We are returning body of child 1. Child 1 is there inside here? No, it is not there. Okay, it is not there. So what we'll do is, it will return the value of child. So it will directly return it. Done. Khatam. Finish. Done. It will do this part. No closure, nothing form, because my function is not defined within parent. It is defined outside only. Its lexical scope is not this. Its lexical scope is over here. Okay. I hope that is clear. I just did this to confuse you. Okay, this is a particular question that I do ask people, so that you know, I know that you understand closure or you don't understand closure. Then what is the next? So this is executed and done. Okay, khatam. we destroy it. Okay, we pop it off the stack, and next we execute return child. I'm not creating the execution context, just assume it is created and it is popped into stack. So now what is this function? Which one? Which body? This body. Okay, it will access counter. Okay, so let's assume this here we are creating execution context, and counter is there. No, it's not there in parameter, it's not there in current execution context. So किधर जाएगा वो जाएगा अपने parent. पहले तो closure में जाएगा. In closure it will not find anything. Then it will go to parent. It will find the counter. It will get the counter. It will get 0, so it will increment to 1. Then it will increment to 2 because we'll call it again. Then it will increment to 3. Did you guys understand, or did I confuse you? Sir, can we get a course on YouTube? It will be recorded. No, we have only realization. Yeah, I have got. I think you also commented on my LinkedIn. I'm getting this from a lot of students. See, eventually I will be teaching DSA on YouTube, so be patient. Till now, for now I want to teach it live because I want the interaction. This either interaction nahi hota itna. Okay, so for now I'm teaching it in my sessions in my Discord. So another thing, if you guys are watching this video, you don't know, I am teaching DSA through my Discord. So you can join my Discord. Whenever I am available on weekdays, I just announce that I'm teaching DSA, and I share a Google Meet link, and you can join those sessions. Okay, so this is regarding that. So that on YouTube I'll teach, don't worry, but later. For now I want to do it on Discord. Okay, cool. I think in was is calling we return child 3. I think okay. Your answer was correct, Pratik. So, but I'm not understanding your expression, but your answer was correct. Okay. Cool. Any questions regarding closure? I think there is no more. Yeah, application of closure I plan to take in next session. So this is the last thing that I want to teach. So now I'm open for Q&A in whatever I have taught today. Thanks for joining, Satish, yesterday, and thanks for finding it cool. It's fine, Pratik, it happens. Actually, you're not on mic, right? So if you were able to tell in mic, it will be in chat. It is difficult to explain. I can understand that. But yeah, any doubts? Any doubts? Any doubts? Again, I'll mention these slides are available. The link is available in the description. You can use it. A lot of hard work has gone in curating this content. So if you're liking it, share this video with your friends. Tell them about this series. Tell them to attend this live. Share me the feedback on LinkedIn. Tag me or Twitter. I'm both places because that helps me. Gives me some motivation. Okay, like people are liking my content because JavaScript का बहुत सारा content already है. Still I'm creating. क्या पागल थोड़ी ना हूँ. So I'm teaching something different, right? So just if you like it, just share about it. That's all. पैसा ऐसा नहीं चाहिए मेरे को, ठीक है? Yeah, this is the first session of yes, Lokesh. Closure is defined in which variable environment, parent or child. No, it is not like parent or child. Wherever the function will be returned to, okay, वो function के साथ जाएगा. Along with the function definition, function body, it will be there. Any other questions? Welcome, Vinod. By the way, because I was still 1 or 2 minutes, so what I just wanted to announce is that I'll be teaching here JavaScript. I'll be teaching here React. I'll be teaching Node. Then we'll do a project in Node. We'll do a project in project in Node, project in React. After that, when I'm done with that, so it will take around 2 to 3 months, maybe more, not sure. Then I'm planning to have a cohort. Okay, that is going to be paid, because in that I'm going to teach a lot of stuff. I'm going see, if you learn this much what I'm going to teach on YouTube for free, that is enough to get you job in any product based companies, except for the DSA part. DSA depends if I'm uploading or when am I uploading, that I don't know. But except for that, you'll be able to clear all other rounds, like JavaScript and React and Node rounds for sure. Any product based company किधर भी ले लो, फैंक कुछ भी करो, ठीक है. DSA depends, like when I release the series. But once you get in the job, how to you work in the job, that and all I'll be teaching in based on cohort. So I'll be teaching a lot of stuff, like how to, we'll be creating two apps, Mon app and a Pern app. No, not Pern app, PFRN, like Postgres, Fastify, React Node, and Mongo Express React Node. We'll be creating those apps. We'll be Dockerizing it. We'll be deploying it, maybe Azure. I am familiar with Azure or AWS. And we'll be learning a lot about security, web security, performance. A lot of stuff is there planned in that cohort. I'm just announcing as of now, but it will be like time, maybe coffee time. So you have time to see if you want to join or not. Okay. But I'll also tell you that all of this knowledge is freely available everywhere. Okay, it's just that I'm curating it and I'm going to spend time teaching it with my expertise, with my experience. That's why I'm charging for it. But you don't need it. Okay, in terms of knowledge, it's not, there is no sacred knowledge. It's available. ठीक है, फ्री में पढ़ना है, जहाँ से पढ़ना है पढ़ लो. I have this created a guide in which I have put all the resources. You can follow that easily. Okay, तो ये need नहीं है. But some people do require coaching. Some prefer coaching. Prefer coaching. Some people need some cohort, like कुछ 20-25 बच्चों का group हो. They like that. Okay, I have friends there. I can share ideas with them. And also that code is not just teaching. It will be, let's say I'll be teaching Redux, then I'll be assigning you different state management. Like I'll give you one zoo stand, I'll give someone X state, and I'll give them assignment. Okay, next week go do your own research. I'll even tell you how to do that research and come back to me and present it and teach it to everyone else. Okay, so that you can learn on your own also. So lot of plan is there in my mind, but ये तो time था इसलिए मैंने बोल दिया, ठीक है. Now I'll stop and let's see if there is a question or not. This is the first session that I answered. Thank you. I already said okay. Is it compiled or interpreted? Like it depends on which engine it is. Okay, in V8 it is just in time compiled. Okay. Now what is just in time compiled? It's a topic for a separate session. I'll talk about that later. Thank you for your efforts. Welcome, Pratik. What about someone who doesn't have experience? That we can talk about how to do that. If you follow my LinkedIn post, I do mention about that. Follow my content, I do discuss about it. Sometimes I'll keep sessions in my Discord, so do join my Discord. In Discord, I sometimes just for fun of I'll just create some session. Actually, now I'm feeling like okay, I should go on Discord and create a session. Okay, so I'll do that. Okay, so welcome, Hasvika. Cool. So now I'm wrapping up this session. I hope you enjoyed it and hope you learned something new from it. Okay. And I'm now going to take a session on Discord. So be on Discord. I'll start up a voice server or something like that.